Feel all right?
Yeah.
You can take your time, can't you?
Take a few, man, for me to warm up today.
Nice difference in machine today. I'm going to talk you through some chest and some shoulder movements today, tutorial-wise. Now, this is the Atlantis.
No.
It is a fly, but it's a fly at a different angle, and I'd probably call it more of a, it's a crab machine, basically, trying to look like a crab. Now, this will feel a lot different than doing a regular fly, because obviously the position of your upper body.
Yeah, okay, bro.
Also,
Good.
the way that the handles flare out, wide and up, rather than wide and back. So you kind of have to choose your, I suppose you choose your position on this, because you could be really upright and actually do this and still feel it, but you could also be here. So my advice on this personally is just to get a slight pivot. Have your feet obviously flat on the stand, and then just tilt slightly forward that your eyes are like over your toes, and that when you pull this together, it kind of meets in line with your eyes, rather than being back here or in front here. That way you're gonna get a good alignment with your chest, your shoulder, and your hands. And then when you finish also, you can actually open your hands on this machine so that your pecs get the most contraction possible. Because what I can do now is I can actually force a few millimeters out that I wouldn't be able to get if my fingers were locked around it. So all you want to do is go up till you feel a good stretch, but not too far that it feels awkward. And then you want to just control down, squeeze all the way in, but like I say, you can move those fingers out of the way to make sure you get a full contraction. Like any tutorial that I ever do with training, you'll notice the tempo is a massive part of what I kind of try to explain. Now, it's as simple as this. If you watch the tempo I do, is the tempo that I prefer. You know, a few seconds on the way up, slightly faster on the way down, and a little pause at the bottom. Now, obviously it's going to get progressively heavier as we do our sets on here, but you want to try and maintain form as best as possible. On a previous video, we were discussing, you know, progressive overload, and it is important, but not at the point where you break form just to get numbers. So with this, being a very particular, precise movement with pretty much focus on accuracy, this more so than anything, you want to make sure you don't break form. So again, you can use Jordan as an example now, watching him perform. He's only coming up to these arms are basically running parallel with his shoulders, not much more, because you don't want to overstretch. Same thing again, good tempo, nice control, keeping the upper body nice and strict. It's not moving around too much. And from there, you want to progress the load. Again, like I say, guys, good thing with like machines, a lot of the time they determine the movement for you. So there is less thinking involved, and all you have to really focus on then is getting the contraction. So that's one of the benefits to machines. So that's the pec fly from Atlantis. Any pointers you want to add to that form-wise?
I think you've covered it quite well, just that little retraction of the shoulders at all times, because I think it's very common that, again, that it come more, I think James highlighted. Yeah, you want to go heavy, but don't go too heavy to the point where you see a lot of like just front delt being used on it. And you see it commonly as well in a
rolling into it.
But just try and keep everything pinned so that you can just squeeze through that chest at all times, just driving the elbows basically together. But a lot of time you'll see that motion like that, like hunching and everything. If you've got too much movement, it's just going to turn into a front delt movement, and then that's why a lot of people have front delt problems, because they just don't retract. They don't retract the scapula and get into the right position. Yep. And you know, I did see a video the other day, to be fair, of somebody highlighting like the pec deck setup, and it did make me laugh, because I won't name who it is, but they just basically made it sound really overcomplicated, and all the video is basically saying is retract your scapula. That's all it is.
Keep the chest.
That is literally what it is. Keep your chest up proud, retract your scapula. But the individual, and a lot of people do this, try to make it sound really complex, and then you're like, wow, I need to pay you money. You know, no, mate, just retract your scapula and do the fucking movement.
Smith machine, chest press. Now, setup's the most important thing on here, because obviously you have a few variables in regards to, like, one, the incline or the flatness of the bench that you wish to have. Two, lining it up with what feels good for you regarding your shoulders, your triceps, and your chest. Now, on here personally, we like to have a shallow incline, so we'll only opt for maybe 1 or 2 holes from the flat. Just that way you don't stress the shoulders too much. Again, like you were saying earlier, there's a lot of over stress on shoulders in chest training, and a lot of time it's just due to the position of the upper body. Bar path is the most important thing. Now, I'm going to lay in here and I'm going to lower the weight, and you're going to see where it comes in parallel with my chest. On the Smith, it has the rings like a regular bar. Now, for me being kind of average, I would say height, I feel like that's about right, but you can play around a little bit with having your thumbs situated from the center out and just have a measurement. So whether it be like 1 thumb, 2 thumb, 3 thumbs, just keep in accordance to what feels good for you, and remember that. You don't want to go too wide because you don't want to stress the shoulder too much. You don't want to go too narrow that triceps are taking the whole stress. You want a nice even load. So for me, these rings here. Now, I would say this as well. My wrists, I like to press with an upright wrist, and so does Jordan. We don't like to have our wrists too far back. When the wrists are too far back, you lose quite a lot of power. So when I unrack on a Smith, I actually have an overhand slightly, and that when I am locked, it's more direct and up. Now the bar, me and Jay like to bring it down to the upper chest. So you'll see there, that's like collarbone. My chest is lifted to this sky. My shoulder blades are down and back, and there's a slight rounding in my lower back. My lower back's actually not contacting the pad. My hips and my glutes are, but my mid back isn't, and then my upper back is. Now, elbows wise, when your elbows are going down on a Smith press, a lot of people, I mean, he's heard this as well, a lot of people tell you to stack your elbows. I don't like that for bodybuilding. I think that's great for powerlifting. But when you're trying to train the chest, you're trying to get a good stretch. Let them flare, but don't let them flare too much. But don't be too concerned about tight elbows. The tight elbows thing is definitely a powerlifting thing. You'll see when people get ready to do like comp bench, they lay there, they arch their back and they tuck. That's great if you're trying to go for a 1 rep max. Me and Jordan, we're here to bodybuild, we're trying to train our pecs. So just like on a pec fly, you want that arm to travel out, you don't want it to travel down. Allow the pec to stretch and allow for the pec to contract, and that's it. Same tempo as on other exercises. Lift what you can, 8 to 12 reps, beautiful. He's a great bencher, so this will be a good example of the form. And then I'll talk through if anything I notice. Again, really pressing his back into that pad. Strong wrist supports if you need them. Industry will save you some money if you use, I think Juicy has the code, we'll get out after. Bring down to collarbone. Pressing controlled. Little pause at the bottom. Beautiful. Elbows coming out, not tucking. Beautiful. Copy that and you'll be gold. Oh, what a tune. No apologies.
Fucking come on. We ain't working for nothing.
All right.
Come on, bro.
3, 2, 1, ladder.
Oh, yes. That's what I want to see. Come on. So we can go. Strong, come on. Go, man. 7, 8. Come on, I'm with you. 9. Big one, come on. Push. Yes, finish. Lovely stuff.
Flexor leverage. Now this is very self-explanatory, this one. All the things that we just kind of said on the Smith machine are things that you should take into account on here as well regarding like the elbow path. If you look at Jay while he's pressing even on the warm-up, see how the shoulder's only slightly higher than the elbow. It's not like the elbows are super tight down to the hip. So we're still thinking bodybuilding press. Another good thing about this particular style of machine is that you get good range of motion because it kind of simulates a dumbbell in regards to the fact that there's 2 freely movable arms. So a Smith, obviously there's a bar that goes across your front of the body. That's your limitation of range, which to be fair, if you've got a thick chest, it's going to be fine. But if you can get a bit more range and it's not uncomfortable, that's where these machines shine. You can adjust the profiles on the range on these arms. And you can obviously adjust the seat height, but yeah, like you can get a little bit more stretch on here. Whereas a bar would touch your chest about there. This gives you that few millimeters. The only thing I'd say on here really is considering how wide you want to go. I think personally, slightly wider because there is an encouragement of tricep lockout. Can get quite tricepy and that forces my elbows down. So I just got a little bit wider on here like I'm on the Smith machine still. Lift the chest. Fully extend. Fully retract. Again, strong wrist. Try not to let it roll too much like that. And just take your time. Don't rush. With weightlifting, from a bodybuilding perspective, load, time under tension is never a bad thing. Control is the main thing I think that has contributed to building the physique. So feel every moment of that range. Take time in the stretch. Explode out the hole. Nice. And allow the machine to take you on that path that it's naturally designed to do. Again, weight-wise, you want to be working with weights that are difficult for like 8 to 10. I think keeping it in that range is perfect. On all these exercises, if you can get 1 or 2 assisted reps from a friend, a training partner, ideal. If you don't have a training partner, then I do like doing a drop set, which you just take off a little bit of load and continue the set.
One more then. Come on, to work that work. Everything, come on.
Yes. Wow, motherfuckers. Right, last demo for a chest movement today. Ooh. Big tune. Pec fly. Now, again, different variation to the first exercise of the day. This is going to be coming across the body, so it's going to mirror more of the pressing that we've done. Again, just bringing that upper arm across the body. And the tip that Jay said this on the very first one today, just keeping the chest up. Don't sink. Chest up, shoulders back. Once it starts getting heavy, I don't want to see that happen. Just understand and admit the failure. Nice and wide. With this, I always try and think about pushing forward first. So when I'm here, I try and think about pushing my hands forward, not closing them. Only when I get to about there, then I consider closing. So it's like 2 movements in one. Push, close. And I actually think shifting your hips a little bit forward so you get a little bit of a decline is not a bad idea on this either. Because that way it will encourage you from doing that chest roll that you can get. And weight-wise on here, depending where you put it in the workout, honestly, this is right at the end of our chest session. I'm gonna aim for like 15 to 20 reps and just flush the blood. We've done a lot of loading. So if it's earlier in your workout, maybe load it a little bit more. If it's later in your workout, maybe use this just to finish it like that. Again, kind of self-explanatory. Control the tempo, don't let it fall back. Have control over the eccentric phase, which is the downwards phase. The thing you don't want to happen is just to be loose on the way down. That's when injuries can occur, same with any exercise. Constant tension. And the same on the way up, constant tension. So I always like to say it, but feel every millimeter of the exercise. That way, you're gonna squeeze the most out of it, literally, that you can get. So that is chest tutorial today, hope you enjoyed. Any more specific questions you wanna know about anything, obviously get in touch via the page and we'll see that we get your answers sorted.